Hey, I'm Brian Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company, and in this video I'm introducing to you the Caran Chromatics Inkredible Colors. It's a bit of a mouthful of a name, but basically it's a whole new line of inks from Caran. Now you may be thinking to yourself, didn't Caran already have some ink? Well, yes they did. They had a series called Colors of the Earth. They were these square bottles, they were 30 ml. Had some really kind of pleasant colors like Grand Canyon, Storm, Saffron, a lot of earthy type things, and it was 7 colors and they were all pretty popular, and it was a bit of a shock when they discontinued them back in, I wrote a blog post about it in February of 2013. I'm not sure when in Switzerland they officially made that cutoff, but that's when we found out about it. So it was kind of sad to see them go. And then we heard, okay, they are going to be coming out with these new colors. This was, well, this is now February of 2014, so that was a year ago that we heard about that. And so basically they said, oh, we got these new colors that are coming out, and we're like, okay, I don't know why you would discontinue this great line of colors, but maybe you got something cool. And then we heard they were going to be even more expensive, and it was like, oh boy, let's see. And then we heard that they were discontinued, or not discontinued, but they were postponed indefinitely as of, I think, May of 2013. So we kind of been waiting around for these inks for a while. And then a couple months ago, we heard, hey, these things are actually coming out. And they started to release them overseas, and it was like, okay, cool. Great, we'll just kind of sit and wait. But, you know, they're expensive. They're $40 list price. You know, we're selling them for $32 at Goulet. It is an expensive ink, so it was kind of like, oh boy. Like, I mean, I was talking to Rachel, I was talking to some other people around the shop here at Goulet, and it was just like, I don't know if it's going to be worth it, you know, because it's one of the most expensive inks out there. You know, Pilot Iroshizuku is really expensive too, and it's even a little bit more than that. And so it's like, geez, is it really going to be worth that? So I'm sure that's the thing that's on your mind right now if you've clicked on this video, and if you know anything, if you heard of anything about this ink, you know, the most talked about thing is this going to be worth it? So hopefully I'll help to you know, cover that a little bit here today. But while I've got them, I'll go ahead and show you kind of what these inks are all about. So there's 12 colors in all. They're 50 milliliter bottles, and they're very, very chunky, very heavy bottles. Not only are they a nice chunky piece of glass, these are custom bottles only done with Caran, but the cap itself is metal. So it's a really heavy cap. It's the heaviest ink bottle cap that I can remember handling on any ink bottle. So the whole thing is very heavily weighted, which of course I tend to associate with kind of quality. I think a lot of people do, like the heavier it is, the more quality it is with most things. Some things it's not that way. But with ink bottles, definitely tend to associate that a little bit. And then the outer packaging, the box itself too, is really just attractive. It's one of the nicest outer packagings I think I've seen on any ink bottle. I mean, Pilot Iroshizuku's got a really nice box too. Pelikan Edelstein's got a really nice box. Those are both premium inks, and I think that, you know, there was a bit of a concern of having an ink that's this expensive. It's like, what's this going to look like? Because there is absolutely no doubt that with an ink this expensive, you are paying for the presentation, the packaging. How is this thing going to sit on your desk on display? Are you going to look at this thing and go, wow, this is a really nice ink? Or are you going to be like, man, I really overpaid for that, you know? But no, I think that this packaging and everything, honestly, I was not disappointed. It lives up to what I was hoping that it would. And my biggest concern personally was when you set this thing down on your desk and you go to open it up for the first time, is the ink going to pour out of the cap? You know, because it's slanted, and so it's like, how are you going to fill a pen with this thing? But no, the ink level does not come up all the way to the top of the cap. There is some room in here for you to dip your pen in and fill it on a new bottle and not have it come pouring out. So that was a bit of a concern of mine, maybe it was of yours too, but it's not something that you need to be necessarily so worried about. So from a practical standpoint, the bottles work really nicely. You know, because of the slant, you're able to get your pen in there, you're able to get, you know, further down into the bottle than you would with most. The 50 ml ink capacity is a good bottle size. You know, it's definitely like, you know, pretty middle of the road, you know, good bottle size. It's not a small amount of ink. So that is really kind of nice. So it's pretty cool that I have the whole line here. I've got this nice little display thing, which is pretty sweet when you're showing all the ink. However, I know I've been getting some questions about this display thing. It's it's nothing too fancy, honestly. It's just plastic. It's really just meant to kind of hold up the ink. It's not something that Caran d'Ache is offering for sale. We were lucky to get our hands on one because we're a retailer, and you know, it's really meant for doing a retail display and for marketing and photography purposes. That's what this thing is for. So unfortunately, we won't be able to offer it for sale, but I will get to show it to you here and make you want it really badly, even though that doesn't help you in any way. So here are the 12 Caran d'Ache Chromatics Inkredible Colors. There's Cosmic Black, Delicate Green, Divine Pink, Electric Orange, Hypnotic Turquoise, Idyllic Blue, Infinite Gray, Infrared, Magnetic Blue, Organic Brown, Ultraviolet, and Vibrant Green. Okay, so some of the names are a little much, but you know, overall, I think these colors are really something. I like them a lot. There's some neat characteristics going on with some of them. They're all pretty conventional, not a lot of strong water resistance or anything like that. Easy to clean. They're well saturated though, you know, and I'll say, aside from a couple of them, like Electric Orange is a little bit light. It's still usable though. It's not like too light to use, but it's not the most saturated orange. Divine Pink though, that's a cool color. You know, that's a pink, it's like a magenta, it's really nice. So you know a little bit more about the ink now, but how do you know if this ink is going to be right for you? Well, I would say if you are looking at it purely from the standpoint of I want to put a liquid in my pen to write with, and I want to get that for the least amount of money possible, this is probably not going to be the ink for you. It does have some really nice colors, and the properties of the ink, they're nothing extreme, they're very pleasant. It's easy to clean. Well saturated colors. You get really nice shading out of most of these colors. Not a lot of water resistance, but not a lot of fuss either. It's not going to cause you a lot of clogging issues and stuff. It's going to be pretty straightforward ink that's going to be very pleasant to write with, and a lot of the colors are really kind of appealing for an everyday ink. So that's really nice. And so from that standpoint, I would say, yeah, just about anybody would enjoy writing with these inks. However, you know, it's really more than just about the ink. It's about the presentation. It's about the statement that it makes. You know, this is the kind of ink that you would put out on your desk to say, yeah, I use fountain pens, and look at this bottle. This thing is gorgeous. It's really like a little piece of artwork to hold your ink. And that's kind of how I would view it. This is where I believe it crosses a line from ink bottle to ink well. You know what I mean? This is the kind of thing that I would personally, once I'm done with the ink, I would refill it with some other ink. Just because the bottle is that nice. So that's really kind of what it's all about. If you like the ink and the experience for you is more than just something to put in your pen, if you want kind of that more kind of holistic approach to the ink and what it means, then that's where you're going to find the appeal with the Caran d'Ache inks. So if you've got any questions about these, you can feel free to leave me a comment on YouTube or on Ink Nouveau. You can hit me up on Twitter or on Facebook. I'm happy to answer anything. I got a whole team here that answer questions. You can call us, email us, whatever, and we'll be happy to answer. I know this is a relatively new ink as of the release of this video, so there's going to be a lot of questions about it, a lot of buzz going on right now. We're happy to participate in that conversation there with you. So thanks so much for watching the video here today, and as always, right on.